in talking about sadness, that we're kind of like, we enjoy sadness, like enjoy being what they call like melancholiness, or like feeling, sad. And sometimes like we can sabotage when other people is too happy. Like if we enjoy or we are sad, other people are happy, we want to ruin it. Like sometimes in our family, like I think Pastor O, he shared this before, but he had that problem with, he's kind of melancholy. Yeah, like a sad kind of sadness. He used to it. He lived like that. And so sometimes like when he sees our family being happy, kids having a good time, his mind is somewhere else, or he's not really there. He doesn't enjoy the family. Like, yeah, so there is a kind of like a time where I think sometimes like we enjoy that kind of emotion, Yeah. So, and another thing is like I just found out that one of my kind of distant niece just committed suicide. Yeah. Last night, and it's like I don't know her. I never met her, but my sister's husband, my brother-in-law's
younger brother's
daughter. Wow. Yeah. So it's so easy for kids to just kind of like live a life of sadness, just kind of depression, and then it's so easy for now children, youth, they're easy to just commit suicide. So we have to watch out for that. And this is a serious thing, I think. It's happening. It's very serious.
Especially this COVID time, they are very disconnected and isolated.
Yeah.
So that thought is very overwhelming them.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I think. Okay.
I have to start.
Okay, one more person. I have to continue. Okay, I'm sorry. One more person, please. Yes, Chan Rod Minh được đầy.
I'm talking two families. The family I grew up, family's culture. I remember when I was young, when I cried or I'm sad, my mom said, "What happened to you? Why you cry?" That no need to cry. It means that she wants to suppress my feeling. Yeah. But my right now present family, when I lost my parents, and sometimes it trigger to me, I feel I miss them, I feel I have a wonderful time with them. I speak out. I told my husband, I said, I feel I miss mom and dad. So one word that he encouraged me, okay, you can miss him because you have a good time relationship with your parents. It's okay. Yeah. He just said like that to me.
Wow. What a good husband.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rod. Okay, we can continue. So I think you can reflect more, like as I'm talking to you just now, while I'm just teaching, I'm also do the reflection, like, oh yeah, oh wow. So you can continue to do that more. So yeah, so now we aware of our own family, culture of how we respond to sadness. And now we need to learn, like when we aware, we need to learn the way how to give comfort to ourselves and to others. Now, if you really understand your emotion, like how sadness, how feeling sadness look like, you understand, so that you will be able to understand other people who experience sadness too, right? If you don't really know how you feel, like I never know how sadness look like, and how you can understand other people, right? So you be aware, and then you learn a way to give to comfort to yourself, and also that you can comfort others. And also this session also help you to know the difference between normal sadness, depression, and grief. Yeah, because we talk about sadness come and go, but if you feel sad every day, morning, night, every day, it's not a normal sadness. So you have to be aware. Yeah, and depression and grief. So so we will have, and
Oh, sorry, can I say on the depression? Because in Cambodian culture,
did it always depression
just because like sometimes they don't have depression, but if they're sad or more than sad, they're like, I'm depressed.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like just saying it and they don't understand.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, before I didn't know what depression was until I met a few clients and really see the depth of depression. Before I just hear a little bit here and there, but to see the reality, how they need to take medication and all these things.
Yeah,
So,
and sorry.
yeah, just sometimes learning about these concepts that people say it, but they actually don't have that.
Okay.
You know.
Thank you, Vajika. This is what I supposed to ask you guys. Thank you for reminding me. So how Cambodian translate this word? Like when you say, I think we're gonna next time you're gonna say like. Sometimes it's translated the same, right? Kriam kram, patikit kriam kram.
Or they just say it. Depressed.
I think so. By Korean, I feeling sad today. Oh, but mấy khác còn đi thắc I'm sad today. Còn đi Anh là sao còn mấy khác đi làm YouTube chân phải đấy. Nói chung, phải đấy. Để sao những người đến thì tập hoạt mình. I'm sad. I am sad today. Okay. And we also can learn the simple intention for self to be familiar with this and preparation to offer to others. Okay, so so many times we don't really have intention to know how you feel and like what I'm really feeling today. And then we are not really allowed to talk much about feeling, right? So like Pastor Yuni mentioned just now, like when you talk about feeling, it means you're weak. You are weak, like you are not a strong man or strong woman. So we have to have like we're gonna learn about that, to have intention for self and to be familiar of our feeling and ready to help other or to offer help to others. Okay, we're gonna read this loud about not just what I'm saying or people saying, but this is from the Bible. Okay, scripture on sadness. So we're gonna read from. We don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, more. So let us start to read louder together. Okay, let's start. 1, 2, 3.
Blessed are those who mourn for their Cambodian.
He
was despised and rejected by men, and of sorrows, and here was something. Surely he took upon our infirmities and carried our sorrows.
Next.
When Jesus saw her weeping, and Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved and in spirit and troubled. Where have you been weeping? He asked. Come and see. Lord, they replied. Jesus wept.
The God of our Lord.
He healed the brokenhearted. There will be comfort for those who mourn.
You have
Taken account of my wanderings. You let all my tears in a bottle.
Yes.
God's ultimate goal is to replace sadness and mourning with joy.
Real joy.
Okay, so this is the biblical view about sadness, and so sadness is mentioned in the Bible. And this is the biblical response to sadness and grief is to comfort and also to share. Like as we hear, it's not just to talk about sadness, but also so that you can really comfort others who experience sadness, and how Jesus also like fear. Like what do you say right here? Which part of Jesus? Okay, sorry, forget about that. So this is how the Bible mentioned, and then how Jesus also respond to Mary about. I cannot move.
You cannot, because Sandy tried to get in.
Okay. So when you see this Bible passage that remind us about sadness, like so we are allowed to express sadness. So sadness is not sin, right? Sadness doesn't mean like you don't really trust God or like what? You have no faith.
Yes.
Because when you go through a hard time, because you can like sadness is your emotion, and then you experience hard time. Like talk about mourning, like when you lose someone you like, you love. Like me, I lost my dad, so I feel sad. And then you say, don't like, why are you feeling sad? I said, solve this problem. So when these people come to me, of course first of all they're just being there, like Peter said. They don't have to do anything, just being there for me. And or like sometimes if they know that the situation allowed for them to pray for me, they're gonna pray for me. Oh, see, Pastor, I have to use, maybe I have to use
Just you use this.
okay, I'm gonna use it. Internet. Okay, so so as a Christian, how we respond to the world from our perspective as a lay counselor, how do you respond? Or you act as other people? We really don't ignore the reality and what is the heart of the people. And we don't take it lightly. Their pain, their sadness, like we don't really ignore it. Like, but we said, I understand. I know how it is. Yes, I know how painful it is. You don't really minimize their feeling, and you just really pay attention to how they feel because of the situation they go through. Like I give you the example just now. If somebody experienced like someone lost in the family, and you just say, you don't need to be sad, and then it means you minimize, and you don't even know like the pain and how they experience at that moment. I think this is how I cannot see her name, like Lisa. So Lisa said that we live in a broken world full of broken people, but it isn't comforting to know God isn't ever broken. He isn't ever caught off guard, taken by surprise, or shocked by what happened next. So it's not surprised with your sadness. He knows that you feeling sad. And I think we already mentioned a lot here too. I don't have to explain this. I can move on. Each culture will have its own way of expressing sadness and grief in its own vocabulary. So as a Cambodian, like from the Buddhist background, even though we are Christian right now, but we have to remember where we are from since we're young. I became a Christian when I was 16. So, for 16 years, I live in the environment of Buddhist background. So how I see and how I observe and learn, and from the church tradition, I don't think we don't have to go this, right? So just translate sadness in Khmer. What sadness in Khmer mean? ជាភាសាខ្មែរ ទុកព្រួយ Yeah, ទុកព្រួយ យើងកំពុងតែចាំទៀតយើងកំពុងតែចាំពាក្យថែមទៀតទុកព្រួយ
It sounds very.
បើសិនជាយើងកំពុងសាកបែបឧទាហរណ៍ខ្ញុំដូចថា
Sorry, we want to
បែបជួយអត់សុបាយចិត្ត
Yeah, ក្រៀមក្រំ Okay, so can be ក្រៀមក្រំទុកព្រួយ
តែពាក្យហ្នឹងបែបវាជ្រៅដែរចុះបើសិនជាយើងគាត់ទៅសាកពេលវេលាហ្នឹង Yes.
Yeah, so some people translate not happy.
Yeah.
And also like
But translate normally we translate and everyone in Cambodia accept it is Kriam Kram.
ក្រៀមក្រំ Okay.
យើងប៉ុន្តែតាមក្រៀមហើយលក្ខណៈដែរ
Like you feel so dry like that, you know? Okay.
The feeling is a name, so the name of sadness is Kriam Kram, like happy, unhappy.
So sadness is not opposite happy?
No. Sadness is a sadness, it's not opposite. But that means that we can say Kriam Kram. Kriam Kram, when the Kriam Kram opposite is sadness, what is called in English?
What is opposite sadness?
Happiness.
Joy.
Happiness, joy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like Kriam Kram is much better translation.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pastor Ong. Thank you. Now you know anytime I don't know a word. I don't think you are
teaches me and what I want to know about the dream opposite in my dream what is opposite?
Tôi krim kram again.
I never opposite it because I don't know. I just know.
Yeah, you don't know the opposite of sadness and crying.
Sorry, just what about depression? Depression. Các bạn cái trận âm niệm opposite lại cái trận nó có bạn cái trận. Trận krim kram. Krim kram Okay, depression is like yeah, it hurt and sadness. Depression and
See, very complicated word for Cambodian.
It's good. So you need to translate later.
Yeah. Okay, so okay, now we just choose scream from. Okay, just choose scream from right now for the sadness, and later on we try to. Yeah, I think Cambodian is very. We are still very limited resource, and most of like counseling term we use in English, like PTSD. You have no word in Khmer.
Maybe I clarify about the depression or sadness. Depression can be depression issue or depression disorder. But the sadness is not issue or disorder.
Yeah.
Sadness is a feeling.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
That's good.
Good. We have psychologists here.
Sadness can lead to depression.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
lead to disorder.
Yeah.
But
There's
not
no
itself.
sadness.
Yeah. You're right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Pastor Robert. No.
Yeah, so even though this is a reminder, even though we know as a Christian that God, like in the Bible, really open, like about grief and sadness, but it's really also still affect you because the core is in you since you are young.
Yeah.
So like I know I can experience, but because of how you have raised and how you have grown up, it's also affect the way how you express sadness too. Okay. Yeah, sadness comes and go in response to the thought or event. Yeah, example, I'm sad that my friend doesn't understand me, or different to a more ongoing state of depression and grief. Cheers. I have 2 more presentations, okay, that I go to verify.
Hi, Jill. My mother-in-law.
I cannot. Okay, so I'm gonna move to question about sadness. Now I have 3. The main session is sadness, but I'm gonna also explain a little bit about grief and loss and also depression. So do you have any question about sadness?
But yeah, I mean, she's 94. She has a stomach tumor. She just got over COVID.
Yeah, it
actually,
can
but
link
I
to that.
only saw her about a
Sorry.
week or 2 ago, which is a blessing.
Yeah. So
But,
sadness can be also experienced
yeah,
along with
but he
other
was doing a
emotions,
great job.
like anger. Like sometimes,
I got
like
cut out for a bit,
behind, like we said that
but I caught on
behind
video.
one emotion there is another emotion.
Yeah.
Like when you are like normally
Yeah,
angry
I
is
know,
like
but if
the thing that you
she
can
knows
express,
the Lord,
but
she's very
behind the
sweet.
anger,
We got to do a
you might feel
video
sad
call
because
with
of
her.
mean,
So
the
when
anger
Naomi
is,
saw her,
just
so
in the top,
yeah,
but
I
behind
don't
some
know that Les will
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
allowed to.
So, that's why we always talk about the
US,
iceberg.
so
Iceberg, you only see the
I've
small
got
part, but the
permission
big part
from
is in the bottom.
me to
So
risk
they are
it coming back.
the secondary
Taking
emotion
it,
behind that. So don't really deal with like that. When you see somebody like angry, you go right away how to deal with anger.
But,
You have to find out more what
I'm
makes
here.
that person
I'm
angry.
just sort of interceding. a bit.
Right? So you don't just
Oh, I know. I have a
in a
quick
counseling,
question.
we have to listen more to
Would you
find
be
out
able
what
to lend me your IP
the
video
person
of
angry.
Pete and David? Because tomorrow, after I'm doing the membership,
we can move on to grief. Thank you, January, for the question.
6 of them, Mark,
So-
Mark and Tammy Baker, and Alice.
Yeah,
and-
grief, everybody can have to translate. Sóc sừng rền. Yeah, túc sóc rồi có sóc sừng rền. Okay, grief. I just give you the stages of grief. Very small. Right? You can have the slide later.
Yeah, the
So there are
easiest
like
is
stages
email.
about grief. Like one is like can you see? Yeah. I cannot see. Yeah, so this is like the stages. But one is like one can be shock or numbness. People really cannot really feel the pain or denial, like, oh, it's not happening, it's not true. Or can be another part is jump, okay, anger. Like you get very angry can be with yourself, or can be
On
with the person who go away from you.
or-
Like,
I mean, I'm on
for
WhatsApp.
example, I lost my father. I said, I'm angry with him. Why he
Yeah.
left me? Why he go? He need to stay longer, you know?
Yeah.
And all can also get angry with God. God, why you take him? Huh?
You can even put it
Also
on the chat in my classroom.
Negotiation.
Yeah.
Negotiation, you negotiate with God. Can you take my life, or can you give him back to me? I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you know, negotiation. And you come to depression, and then you can go back to normal. But this is the real experience. Go back and forth. You feel
Yes.
you denial, you get angry, and then you feel depressed, you negotiate, and then you go to normal, like accept, like, oh yeah, this is true. The last part is acceptance. Yeah, I know it is true. But in a few, like when you see somebody who's similar to him or what, like trigger you, you go back again. I feel so angry and blah, blah, blah. So this is a stages, and I wish I know about stages before I lost my father, but I get to know this when I question a lot about myself. That what happened to me? Why so strange like that, you know? But I get, grief begin as a natural response to loss. So so you because you lost, why you experience grief, because you lost something. And I think I'm gonna explain to you more about loss. Generally, more significant the loss, the more intense grief can be. If I just lost my pen, I can find another pen, right? If I lost what? My voice, oh, it's a bit expensive. If I lost my, depend on, like, loss can be like the thing that you lost, like can be small or big. And you're gonna, oh, I should, example, I miss my watch sometimes. Oh, I should keep in my bag, blah, blah, blah. And so it depends, right? Depend on like, I say significant the loss, the more intense the grief can be. Grief is very much part of life. It is grief is not process. It can be get stuck. Yeah. Janwat sent one of her church member to me because she know that I cannot help her. So that's good. My client can process her grief over the loss of her husband. Yeah, and but now she can move on because like I can move on now. Good. The trigger come back and forth, but she can move on with her life. So if you don't really process properly, the person can get stuck, and it can affect all the circle with the physical chain. Yeah. So when somebody experience grief, like they're gonna have you cannot sleep well. Right? You have sleep loss, and also you cannot eat well. And one of my clients said that I'm not hungry at all. I don't want to eat anything. Like, so this is affected. And then if you don't know, like, what happened to you? But this is also affect her physical chain, like sleep, appetite, and also behavior. Like she doesn't want to take care. Like, I don't want to comb my hair. I don't want to put lipstick on my lip. I don't want to dress nice. Yes, whatever. I don't care because someone who I love, he already gone. Where I have to make up for what? That I don't have to make up. I don't have to make myself beautiful because God already took him, you know. So it affect the how the self-care is, and also don't want to do anything at all. She doesn't want to go to work. She doesn't want to do any housework. Like, I don't care, whatever. And also, and then it's time to process. And also affect in the mind circle. We can have 3 major mood of anger, sadness, and anxiety. It also impact those, right? You become like what? Like we say, become very angry, hopeless. What else? Like so different kind of emotion happen, and also the memory. Like she cannot really like even not remember like today. What is today? Like what today is that? It's Friday. She doesn't know like today is like today is Thursday. Okay, not Friday. Like the time, like like when people say something, she doesn't remember. Like I told you yesterday, 2 + 2 supposed to be 4. You said what? 2 + 2 + what? 5. So like it's affect the memory too and the volition. No energy. Like remember Sharon shared with you about volition is like your gas tank. Like no more gas. I don't want to get up out of bed. Oh, it's so heavy. Just take the book. It's so light. Why the book is so heavy? You don't have any. Why this book is so light? But when you are like experiencing, you're like, why this book is so heavy? like you have no energy. It affects your memory and volition. Yeah, and also impact the heart circle. Especially, I think we can learn more later. The love, the true sector. Especially the identity. What I just give you the example of my client because she's married, and when she lost her husband, she's like, "Oh, now I don't call myself as a wife anymore." So her identity lost her identity. If somebody who really lost a husband or a wife, like the identity change, we can ask you like, "Where is your husband?" Oh, it affects her identity. Or a father, like when people ask me like, "Hey, how is your father?" Oh, why you ask me about my father? So it affects my identity because I used to have father, and now people ask me about father, or oh, yeah, I don't have a father. I forgot that. Yeah, so like it affects your identity and also impact your control sector too. Like you become very depressed and you cannot really manage. That's why people who are really experiencing grief, they cannot really manage anything. Even though my client, she's a very strong woman, a smart woman. She is like a high position at school, but in her position, she cannot really manage her emotion. You might say, "You are strong, you are smart. Why cannot you manage?" So she lose her control. Like she cannot manage her situation anymore. Okay, so yeah, a grief person needs someone to accept and listen to them. Okay, and I'm just there. Like people, like maybe it's what do you do? I'm just there. I am there to help her to process. Like I just I didn't really do anything. I'm just there and to accept and know that I don't really take your feeling lightly. I know it's painful. I know it's hard for you. And it's just appreciate like thank you for listening to me and accept my feeling. You don't judge me. So you need someone to just accept and listen. Yeah, important not to judge, but to normalize different emotion and thought. Like the phrase I said to her, like, if you lose your husband and you don't grieve and you don't feel sad, it is strange to me. It must be something wrong with you. So normalize to know that if she doesn't feel she's feeling, she's abnormal. So normalize the person like yeah. And then I because she talk and go and tell us, so what do you miss the most? And she's gonna tell me like why I missed it and missed it in her relationship. So she just tell me all the memories. So I'm just there to listen. And then I also like the good question is, what do you miss the most? And also, what do you need now? So she's gonna say, yeah, I miss. Okay. I run out of time. I'm sorry. When I'm run out of time, I become like, what I'm supposed to do. Okay. Yeah. What really like grief when someone has lost a close person? It takes 6 to 12 months to resolve it, but it can be take for life. Yeah. It depends on the situation. If the relationship was messy or if the death was traumatic, it can cause complicated grief that may take a long or more into depression. Okay, depression is after grief, in part of the grief. Example, traffic accident. The person just say hi, and then when they go, so it affects a lot, especially like a murder. Someone that you know and get a murder, and also suicide. You just see today and tomorrow just commit suicide, and also if you ask the survivor, also very affected. Like 2 and 1 die, 1 survive is also. This is we call traumatic or messy grief. It's very hard to deal, okay? And you allow the flow and let God live that. Okay, a griever may often have trouble with moving on, feeling they are being unloyal to the person they love. So it's very hard to move on. This picture, like wherever you go, you bring the memory of the person with you. If like the person who really experienced grief, they like when they pass by the restaurant, they said, "Oh yeah, I used to come here with them." When you see somebody wearing the same shirt, oh, like it. Or you can just smell the For me, another day I smell the perfume of someone similar to my father. Oh, somebody smell like my father. See? So like you bring the memory to everywhere you go, you know, like the person is like with you. Yeah? And grief is not a disorder, okay? Not a mental problem. When nobody, oh, she has mental problem. Okay? Grief is,
it can if you don't deal with
yeah, that's why you said that the prolonged sadness or grief. Okay, grief is not a disorder, a disease, or a sign of weakness. It is emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity. The price you have to pay. If you love someone, you have to experience grief, right? The only cure for grief is to what? The only cure for grief is to grief. Yeah, easy to answer. Okay, and he said that because of heaven, Christian never have to say goodbye. But see you later can be a hurt. What?
the hardest one is the one you were not going to see later.
Yeah. So even though Christian, we know that we can. That's why in a Christian church, I never said to my church members that you're gonna see him. No, I will not say that. Of course, the person know they're gonna see the person in heaven, but you know, it better not to say it. Oh, he's with God now. Better not to say it.
No. So we just only listen.
Yeah, be there, being there for her. Okay. Grief is the hardest journey we'll what? Ever walk. Yeah, I wish heaven has a phone so that I can hear your voice one last time. Okay. So, okay. Oh, I don't think I have enough time. Last. Okay, go very quick. Last. Okay. So loss is part of life. So important to know that. Okay. So that is not the only loss for human. That we always when we talk about love, it's not about that. No, it's not about that. Only one. That is not the only loss a human might experience, yet it is often the only loss that is validated as the legitimate grief experience. So it's part of life. Okay, in our view, any event that involves change is a loss and necessitated the process of grief and transition. So there, we all involve change, you know. You might change job, change house, school, or church, a lot of changes in life. And then until now, you have experienced a lot of changes, right? Life is a process of kind of you change, involve the experience of loss and learning how to let it go. Okay, did you move house, change job, school, country, like Pastor Jenny, Pastor O, moving back and forth, you know. The status, like from single to married to what? Divorce, mother to, so it's also changing like from time to time, and also the age, you know. Another day I feel, wow, I'm not 42. And I feel, oh my goodness, I want to see my gray hair. Oh my goodness. So, you know, it's also like I remember I used not to have gray hair. Now I have gray hair. I don't experience dyeing my hair. Oh no, I haven't dyed my hair. Okay, school or sickness. Some people who do buy very healthy. Like for me, I experienced headache. And then maybe people who used to be not very healthy and they get sick, right, Pastor? You think maybe you can experience that too. Like sickness also part of the grief. Like, wow, I used to have a good health. Okay, be able to sit with someone, okay, cry every comforting, often the role of pastoral counselor. I know most of us don't feel comfortable when you are with somebody who cry.
No, I love it.
Oh, you love it? Oh, so good.
Not that I like that they cry, but that's one.
Okay, so most of you, do you feel comfortable when you see someone cry? Or like, oh, it's so hard.
It used to be.
Yeah.
Because I myself.
Peter, it's hard, right? When you see your wife cry? Yeah. Yeah, so
you feel some why that happened is not happened to us. Not me, not happened to me, but happened to my wife.
Oh, okay. So you don't want her to tear, right? Okay, so I think many of us don't feel comfortable when you sit with someone who is crying. So when you sit with people who are grieving, sad, it is wise to not touch, but to let them talk. Touch and infer they should stop sharing. If the Holy Spirit leads you to touch, okay, why don't you touch? Sometimes you touch, it can bring a lot of healing. Yeah, encourage them to sit with their emotion and share it. Like, General, you asked me a question, okay? Encourage them to sit with their emotion and share it. Give tissue. Yeah, I always in our counseling room, we are ready with the tissue. Encourage them to take time. It's important and effective. Reflect the emotion. Okay, just you just give the tissue. It's like a big deal to her already, right? Because oh wow, she validated my feelings.
And sometimes cry with them.
Yeah, if you want to cry. Yeah, so the Bible talk a lot about comforting those who mourn. Okay, what comfort or care do you need when you are sad? Ask yourself, okay? You guys, what comfort or care? Suppose that when I'm sad, don't talk to me much, right? What comfort or care do you need when you are sad? Maybe you can do for yourself. And then what you can do for yourself, okay? When you sad, what do you want to receive comfort? Peter said he can drive motorbike.
Yeah.
Go out.
And and also what you can do for yourself too when you sad. Barbecue. Okay. So you know yourself. When you are sad, when you are not sad, and you know, like, you tell people, like, you know, I don't want you to talk so much when I'm sad. Just leave me alone, please. Okay. So you know, like, you want to receive comfort, or what you want to receive, and then what you're supposed to do when you are sad. Yeah. What do you do with your sadness? And maybe you can practice with God. Talk about, if you don't know, have somebody to talk, process with God. Like, God, I am so sad today. I blah, 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 blah. I don't know what you do. For me, normally I do with God. I process a lot with him. Like, I can speak it out, and, you know, sometimes I cry. And after that, I feel, oh, so light. Okay, so you can do whatever, like, you know yourself better than others. And of course, God knows you too, more than you know yourself. Yeah, I think. Yeah, anything you have, you can. This is I got from Susan. I got her from her presentation. Like, anything you have, you can lose. Anything you are attached to, you can be separated from. Anything you love can be taken away from you. Yet, if you really have nothing to lose, you have nothing.
Nhanh học biết trong khối.
I like the last.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, this is a reflecting question. What is the difference between grief and loss? What type of losses can you think of? This is you can get later, or you take picture, okay? And what do you think of this statement? Losses need to be grieved. How comfortable are you to sit with someone who is experiencing grief? Maybe if you don't feel comfortable because of trigger something, like Chandra, you know that I cannot handle the limit. Can you help? Reach out for help. How can you connect with, understand, and respond to the people suffering? Okay, you can do it later. I go very quickly with depression because depression is very deep and very long. So I just go lightly. Don't take it like you want to know like very deep, because if deep, it can also make you hard too. So I'm gonna just go very simple. After time, right? Oh yeah, break. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, Pastor. So I have more time to. Yeah, so you can reflect on it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that.